Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soul to Soul with Lisa Scholz, a video series of interviews about mediumship, psychic phenomenon, energy healing, and much, much more. My name is Lisa. I'm a professional psychic medium. I'm also an energy healer using body talk, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I'm also a lifetime student of the unseen world around us, always curious about how we can align ourselves with the abundant healing energy of this world and beyond. Today, I have my friend with me, Amy Johnston, who is also a medium, energy healer, and she's a spirit artist. So a little bit about Amy. Amy's highly developed intuitive abilities allow her to not only deliver messages to her clients from their loved ones on the other side, but to simultaneously sketch detailed drawings of those loved ones as well. Amy's natural self-taught artistic intuitive talents include drawing, painting, custom aurographs, soul portraits, and angelic helpers, including spirit guides and spirit animals. She's also creating 2 decks of inspiring oracle cards. Amy has trained with some of the world's foremost mediums. She's also an accomplished energy healer whose compassion for those in need is rooted in her decades-long background as a registered nurse. Amy is currently located near Denver, Colorado. However, she has clients all around the country and the world. Welcome, Amy. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm so excited about today's talk because we get to dive into spirit art, which is so interesting and so fascinating. But before we get there, my first question to you is, how did you go from being a registered nurse to being a medium? Like, how did that happen? Can you share with us your story?
I often ask myself that same question, and I have to think back, and it wasn't something that I actually chose to do. I didn't seek mediumship. I didn't even know what a medium was until a few years ago. I knew what psychics were, but I didn't know the difference between like a psychic and a medium.
Okay.
I honestly didn't know much. I was always interested in like kind of paranormal things like ghost hunting. Even though I was terrified of the dark, I'd be the first one to say, let's go organize a ghost hunting trip. Or I'd want to read a book about psychics or something like that. But I never really like knew much about it. I was just kind of interested in it.
Okay.
And I've always been highly intuitive. I've always been sensitive, which made me a good nurse.
I bet.
I think that towards the tail end of my career, I was kind of feeling that kind of like, I'm not so sure I want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And although I loved nursing and taking care of patients, I just felt like I was kind of stuck in a box that was a managed care, an industry that I felt like it was going away from healing, and it was kind of going more towards a business.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and working 12-hour shifts was exhausting. You didn't know when you're going to get food. You didn't know when you're going to get a break. And that kind of environment will completely take your intuition away from you because you're just kind of in that flight or fight mode. You're trying just to struggle just to stay afloat during your shift.
Sure.
So I have to say that, you know, kudos to the nurses that are young, that are starting up and going into this, because it's not, you know, it's not all bad. It's a great profession.
Right. Absolutely.
I was just kind of like towards the tail end of it.
Yeah.
And consequently, at the same time that I was feeling this need for something different in my life, I was hearing messages from my friends, from my coworkers, from my family. You're too sensitive. You take things too personally. And we didn't mean to hurt your feelings. And so I was always thinking, what's wrong with me? You know, how come I'm so sensitive to this stuff? So I started researching because I'm nosy and I like to get to the root cause of things.
Yes.
Why am I sensitive?
And
I started, I think I read a book about the highly sensitive person.
Yes.
Probably heard of that. It's a wonderful book.
HSPs, yes.
And I actually found a psychologist here in Denver who specialized in therapy and working with HSPs.
Okay, yes.
And so I trained with her. Actually, I say trained because I had therapy, but I also had training in developing my intuition. And and she actually was a wonderful source for me because she let me know how normal I was and how unique I was.
Yes.
And I think that the sensitives in the world are misunderstood. She let me basically know that there was nothing wrong with me. And I had been diagnosed with depression. I had been diagnosed with anxiety, but never quite sat right with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what, being a licensed clinical social worker myself, one of the things I say to people all the time is, because depression and anxiety is so common. It's just so common in our world. But when we look at it from an energetic perspective, is it really anxiety? It could be. It could be clinically anxiety. Is it really depression? It absolutely could be. Or are you feeling and picking up on the energies around you? And if that's what's happening, if you're picking up on the heaviness around you, maybe someone's in a bad mood, you know, maybe someone, it's just too crowded and the energies just, which makes you feel kind of anxious. You know, you really have to begin to discern, is it me or is it stuff around me? And people who are highly sensitive, which 20% of the population is an HSP,
right?
People who are highly sensitive, we tend to be more, our antenna is a lot bigger of our, you know, scanning our environment all the time and picking up on that stuff for sure. So to your point, HSPs are not necessarily psychics or mediums. They're just really, really able to pick up on everything around them. And they do tend to be highly intuitive. But I always think of like psychics and then mediumship, it's a whole nother couple levels, right?
Right. So. Well, no, yeah, I like how you explain that. That's awesome. Yeah, and she would do some testing on me, like, she's like, "You realize how clairvoyant you are?" I'm like, "What's clairvoyant?" I mean, I kind of knew, but didn't really know.
Okay.
And so the sessions would involve, you know, typical talk, and then like you'd have in a therapy session, a little bit of homework, and then some energy healing. And we would also go into things like past lives.
Awesome.
We talk about chakras. We talk about dreams.
Sounds like my kind of therapist.
Oh yeah, and I would just kind of leave there saying, "What's she talking about?" But of course, then I go investigate because I want to know everything.
Right.
But she also developed an intuitive awareness program, and that was back in 2012. So I think this is kind of when things started to really shift. It was December 21st. On the solstice of 2012, we're getting ready for the big Mayan. All of us that were enrolled in this training, we met once a month. We had tons of homework, and we would work on accessing and trusting our intuition.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So powerful, isn't it?
It was so amazing. And I'm sitting in these meetings and I'm getting all these downloads of information like that I couldn't explain, and I'd have to ask. And I think what I was getting was beyond what was in her training, because it wasn't in the syllabus, but I think it was spirit kind of knocking on the door saying, "Amy, we're waking you up."
Yeah. So she was a therapist, or is a therapist, who is open to intuition and clairvoyance and that kind, but she's not an identified medium, correct? She's not.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's what. Okay.
No, she wasn't. She's sensitive herself and clairvoyant, but she's not. No, not a medium.
Okay. Got it.
So it was kind of coming more from a professional standpoint, but she also has some other background in the esoteric stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So I hate to go off. I'm trying to make this the Cliff Notes version because it was just so healing for me to be around these people that were so kind, and to know that I was okay. That was just, and to me, I've been able to pass that knowledge along to other people that I've met, that I can see what's going on. Like, I don't necessarily think that you're experiencing this. Of course, I'm not a therapist, but I can also, as a nurse, I can pick up on stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and then I started seeing spirit, and then I started getting messages, and then I'm like, what is this? And I started reading about it, started looking into it, and that's kind of how the journey started. I started looking for teachers, started looking for courses, started looking for books on mediumship.
Okay. So you just started formally training at that point then? That's what you're saying?
Well, it wasn't really formal. I couldn't find much here in Denver. I don't know if I was looking in the right places.
Okay.
This is kind of a crazy story, but I found an advanced class in Maine.
Okay.
It was 6 months later. It was 6 months later. It was taught by John Holland and Janet O'Havoc.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Powerhouses.
I know, they're amazing.
They are.
And I had been listening to them on Hay House, and I'm like, wow, I'd like to train with them.
Yeah.
And this was 6 months away. I thought, I'll be ready. I went. I was scared to death. I told
So you
my
had to
husband,
go to Maine. It wasn't online. You actually had to go there.
yes, I couldn't
Okay.
find them here.
Okay.
And it was advanced. It was for practicing mediums. And I'm like, I can't believe I just signed up for this course.
Right.
I felt like a fraud. And my husband said, if it's bad, if it doesn't fit, we'll just get in the car and we'll go see the coast. Don't worry about it.
There you go.
Right?
Mm-hmm. So you were already at that level. You didn't realize you were at that level, but you were at that level.
I think
that's what led you there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I would never do something that bold or say that it was something I wasn't. It was just,
Absolutely.
I knew I needed to be there.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. I met some great people and I did fine.
And here you are. Mm-hmm. Here you are.
I came back, took some more courses. I've studied, with I've never gone abroad, like, to Arthur Findlay or anything, but I've studied, here in the States with, some of the Arthur Findlay tutors.
Yes. Yeah.
And some great local people.
Right. And the beautiful thing too about technology is we do have access to Arthur Findlay tutors and things like that. We have access to people in California, in Maine, and we're all over the place, depending on, what you're interested in. It's really exciting, really exciting.
Yep.
So here you are, you start working or at least developing as a medium. What brought you to spirit art then? Because you're going from an RN, a registered nurse, to a medium, and then also to a spirit artist. And I believe you said to me before we started this interview that you were not formally trained as an artist. So help me understand how that all happened.
I tell you. Oh, I grew up in a family of artists, so I had art around me. My dad was taught. My mom had gone to the School of Hollywood Art and Design, and my sister's a professional artist. So art was in the family.
Okay.
I always had that idea, like, oh, I'd love to be an artist someday, and I could always doodle. Okay. And but just never went to art school. It wasn't in the cards for me, but always in the back of my mind, I've always just loved art.
Yeah.
And there was a meetup group here in town. A friend said, let's go. There's some psychics and mediums meeting. And it was in a pub and it was kind of loud, so I couldn't really hear everybody. And I was doodling on a napkin on the table. You know how you just kind of keep your hands. And I was drawing a little face and somebody looked over at me, another medium, and said, you really should investigate spirit art. What's that? And so she led me to another spirit artist here in town, and Teresa Seagraves, and I met her.
I know who she is.
She's wonderful. We're friends, and Teresa herself was in training and was giving a little dem as part of her schooling. And I went and watched, and I was just like sold. I'm like, this is it. Yeah. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So shortly after that, a couple days later, I went home and drew a spirit person, and that's in one of the pictures I'm going to show you here in a bit.
Okay.
And just took off from there. I've never trained formally as an artist, and I've never taken any spirit art courses. I just kind of get the information from spirit. I let spirit teach me how to do this.
So you channel it. It comes
I guess
through.
So.
You're channeling the art, and you have the ability to do. So you do aurographs, soul portraits. You draw and paint angelic helpers, spirit guides, animals, all kinds of things. So can you explain to us what some of those categories are and show us some examples?
Sure.
Kind of walk us through it.
When I think of spirit art, I like to think of spiritual art first, like encompassing all the arts, like music and dance and writing and all those things. And you think about those amazing musicians that came up with scores of music or screenplays, and that people wrote screenplays, and you say, how did they get that? And they just kind of channeled it. It just kind of came through them.
Great.
And so I think of like the arts encompassing all of that. Now, spirit art is what I do, which is the main thing I do is spirit portraits, where I'm able to make the contact with the spirit person, the loved one who's passed, and draw them.
Okay.
And I'll pull some up here and
Okay.
kind of
Let's
walk
see.
you through it, if that's okay.
Yes, absolutely. I'm excited to.
Okay, can you see that all right?
Yes, I can.
All right, so as I said before, spirit portraits are the evidential portraits. And I will sketch someone and have never ever met them or seen them before. And the recipient will show me a picture of them. If they have a picture, I don't always get a picture to compare afterward who it was.
Okay.
Highly evidential. And this is a setup here that I'm at a gallery event. Another medium is on the stage reading, and I have linked in and I'm drawing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is, I drew Johnston. So you have to, I didn't put his picture up yet because I want you to see that it's a little rough, you know, it's a little Picasso-ish, but he's a little crooked. But what was interesting is look at his earrings.
Okay.
I don't know if you, I know you're kind of up there in the window,
Yes.
but
Yes.
how
I've seen
often,
them.
you know, a lot of times, I mean, back from my day, back in the 80s, I'm dating myself, guys might pierce one ear, not both. So it was,
Right.
and
And I see he's got the light mustache in the photograph, and then also you have a very fine light mustache in your drawing as well. So he's your first drawing. So he's really special to you. And the short hair, the short dark hair, absolutely, the defined eyebrows, even the shape of his eyes are very, very similar.
And he had a little bump on his nose, and I did find out that he had broken his nose during lacrosse.
Okay. Yeah.
Lacrosse or football, I can't remember now. It's been a couple years. But what's interesting is I met someone online on Facebook. It's so crazy how we meet people, and we started talking about mediumship and detective work and those kind of cold cases and stuff. And he's not a cold case, but we started getting to know each other. This gal. And one day I was drawing and drew him. I said, "Look what I did." And she says, "Oh, I know, that's my cousin."
Oh
And
my gosh.
she sent me a picture, and I said, "No, I'm not buying it." And it didn't look like him. It was a different picture. I think about a month went by, Lisa, and I said, it was nagging at me. That's your intuition again. I said, "Could you just see if you have any other pictures of Justin?" And she found this one. And I'm like, okay, bingo, that's it.
Yeah. But she identified him right away. You know, you've never met this person, but she knows him, and she knew from your sketch, oh, that's my cousin.
Yeah, but I was fighting it. I was like, I don't know about that picture. I should have the other picture up, but I don't. Yeah. Okay. And here's an example of how I can draw pets in spirit as well, because what's interesting is so many people want to hear from their pets more than they do want to hear from people sometimes. And this was a German Shepherd. He just felt very large to me. And I put a little spot on his tongue. And what's interesting, Elisa, when I'm drawing these, you start kind of doubting yourself. Like, why would I do that? Well, just like the earrings, like this doesn't, it's tough. You have to really kind of like lean into it and trust.
Right.
And I had this picture for like a year, and I was sitting next to a gal in a development circle here in town. And one day she mentioned her dog, and we got to talking, and she was describing him. I said, he didn't happen to have a spot on his tongue. Oh, as a matter of fact, he did. So I said, okay, next week I'm bringing you this picture. So and then she sent me these. Now you can't really tell because this is dated from like 1969 or 1970, but he did have a spot on his tongue.
Wow. So even our animals from way back when are still with us and still around us. And here you are inspired to draw him, and then you meet up with his human later. Like, that's so cool that the spirit world knows what's going to happen. You know,
isn't that amazing? That
it
makes me wonder about time and how do they know this?
Right, right.
This is Mary.
Mary.
You can see my drawings are improving a bit here.
Looks just like her. It looks just like her. That's really incredible.
And her hair was important to her. As I was drawing, she wanted me to go back and fix her hair. And hair is not easy to sketch, and it can take some time. And I just kind of wanted to get the feel of it and just get it up there. And she really wanted me to make it higher. And turns out that the stern expression was part of her personality. She could be a little stern, and her hair was always big. It was really important. And then she liked the false eyelashes. You can see just some lashes there.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that looks just like her. That's really incredible. And the hair and everything. And you can tell, even though she's smiling in the photograph, at least I can tell, you could tell she's like kind of stern, you know.
Yeah. So that was claimed like within a day. That was cool.
So you just posted that on your website or something, and then someone claimed it?
Oh yeah, I should back up. I've started drawing some of them live on YouTube.
Okay.
This is one that I drew on YouTube and then posted. And if I don't hear anything, sometimes I'll post it in a Facebook group or a circle or on my page, and then somebody will claim it. So.
Okay, that's interesting.
And this is Bob.
Oh.
And what was interesting about Bob is sometimes I'll draw in colors versus, just the charcoal or the pencil. And I picked the blue for him. And he did have blue eyes. He was, to me, the blue kind of represents a very peaceful person. And he had this respiratory condition, which in healthcare, we call it cyanosis, when they're a little air hungry and they're blue. So that was part of it. And you can see like the neck muscles on him. He's kind of straining. His lips are pursed. Yes. And he was claimed like within 30 seconds when I put him up. It was awesome. Yeah.
So your spirit portraits are evidential, yet they're also symbolic. So the symbolism here is the blue, right? Like not getting enough air. And also the fact he was a peaceful person. So I love that you have both. You've got the evidence and the symbolism in your drawings.
What's interesting, I didn't tell you this, is I don't actually see them.
What do you mean?
I just get this information. I don't see them in my mind's eye, these people. Okay. I just feel it, and I'm just kind of, I start drawing, and I will feel, I think that's part of being an empath, being that sensitive person. I can feel that I'm a little short of breath. I can feel that I'm leaning forward a little bit. I can feel something on my nose, and then this just kind of comes out on the paper.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Do you find that you're able to, having your background as an RN, do you find that you're able to draw people who have medical ailments and get that a little more accurate than, say, someone else? Or have you not noticed a pattern like that at all?
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I have drawn some things that are medical, come to think of it. I've drawn like a cleft palate that's been repaired, of some scarring I've drawn. If I'm drawing the neck, sometimes I'll feel whether they've had a thyroid issue.
Okay. Yeah. I was just curious, since you're an RN and you've had so much experience in the medical world, like how that would come through in your mediumship.
Yeah, I think had I not had my nurse's training, I wouldn't be the medium that I am today, because all the things that I've seen. And I'm also married to a firefighter, so I get all his information too. So I hear a lot about what other ordinary people wouldn't hear about.
Right, of course. So do I, as a therapist. I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh, I imagine you would. Yeah, I bet you pick up on a lot of the emotional stuff that's going on.
I do, and it's just, that's how we work as mediums. They tend to be much more open with me about their feelings. It's almost like a therapy session with the other side. So, things that maybe they didn't say when they were here to their loved one, but they're able to say it now. It's very, very therapeutic and healing and wonderful and all that. It can be very raw too, but it's just brilliant how the spirit world works and works through us, given our gifts here on the earth plane, you being a nurse and me being a therapist, and how people in the spirit world can choose us and work with us for what they need, their healing as well.
That is so beautiful, because, you think about how there's really a medium just about for everyone, because all of us are so different because of our experiences, and we could never be lumped into one box.
It's true. Yep.
Amazing. Okay. So AURAGRAPHS, I only have one just for essence of time here, but the original design was by Harold Sharp. He was a spiritualist medium in the UK. he may have originally been from Ireland. I can't recall, but he coined the original term for autographs, and he would feel into someone's soul. He'd be able to use colors. He would be able to use symbols, and he had a specific, if you ever get a chance to look up images on Google for his autographs, they're absolutely stunning.
Okay.
But I've kind of taken his...
Say his name again. What is it?
Harold Sharp.
Harold Sharp. Okay.
I've kind of worked his because I don't want to be a copycat. I kind of want to like still stay with the theme, but kind of morph it to my own. And here's an autograph that I did for a lady. It's actually a circle on a square canvas because I wanted it to be square on the outside, and all the stuff that I painted, the castle kind of, I went into like her earlier days, like being a child. The middle represents the now, and towards the right is the future.
Okay.
And then all the colors meant something as well. And all I had was her name. I didn't know much about her. And then when I was finished, we met online like you and I are, and I gave her a reading. And indeed, all these things she could identify with.
Wow. Because it feels like, looking at it, I love the colors. It feels like a fairy tale. It feels very peaceful and quaint and just so soft.
And that's kind of what I felt too, Lisa. I'm like, you kind of have this fairy tale life. It's like, things are really good. And she did agree. And the deer, she lived in the mountains. So that was significant as well. I didn't know that.
So again, very symbolic, but accurate evidence of who she is, bringing through art, bringing through her personality and her life. That's really interesting.
That was fun. Okay. And then spirit guides. And spirit guides are, can be kind of an iffy area to go into because it's not necessarily evidential. However, it can be evidential for the person I draw for.
Okay.
And the guides, can be people that are with us in spirit that are assisting us. And the first few that I'm going to show you here are pastels. So this is Chloe. She has a very kind of ancient feel to her, very serene, very calm. The blue was important as well, peaceful. And then white feather. And I know we talked about this earlier. It's so fun to talk about this with somebody because I don't always see things that other people would. But like we noticed that their expressions were so calm.
Yes.
Compared to like Bob, who was struggling to breathe, and Mary, who was stern. And
right. Yeah. They're not of this world. Look how calm and serene and peaceful they are. All these things that we want to emulate here, that because of our lives and things are happening around us, we don't always have this frame of mind. So it's nice to see. It's very comforting to see that.
It's like
a soft place to fall.
Shed all those things that are like holding us down. So they're highly evolved. This is Pius.
Wow. It's beautiful. So much detail there, Amy. Wow.
Yeah, he was very calm. And then here's Luz. And this one here was interesting because I thought I was really doing a bad job on her hair. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. She's telling me something about her hair, but I don't know what it is. It feels like there's a cap on here or something. And sure enough, this particular guide, I actually was told that she's a Caribbean guide, and they wear white in the Caribbean, the mediums do, and they wear a shower cap type thing to clear their crown chakra, to kind of clear their aura.
So again, you have a spirit guide who we can't name, we can't claim, because it's not like it's Aunt Mary or Bob or whomever, but you are also bringing in evidence here. The fact that you drew or painted a shower cap here, and that you had her in white, which is traditional for mediums in the Caribbean to wear white. So you are channeling in evidential mediumship with a guide. That's really phenomenal. That's so exciting.
It really was, because you know what, Lisa? I thought I was drawing a spirit relative.
Wow.
I said, yeah, I drew somebody named Luz who's in your family and blah, 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 blah. She's like, no, this is my guide. Her name is Luz.
Oh my goodness. Even more evidence. That's phenomenal. That's great.
For some reason, there's something about mediums that it seems to be a bit easier to draw their guides, maybe because we're more open to them.
Mm-hmm. And we know them like people. We
Mhm.
know them like they're people.
Here's Anya.
Okay. I love that purple behind her. That's just like, it's like she's glowing.
Yeah, and I do find that I want to put some gold in there, which a lot of these, which when on the ones that are colored, just because it kind of represents that connection with the divine source, God, prime source, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. Yeah. Beautiful.
And here's an otherworldly guide.
Yeah.
It's for another medium, and I just felt like she was out on the astral plane, this gal, and I can't see it here, but I put some gold flecks in her eyes and her hair, but
Mm-hmm. That's just so bright and so like powerful. That just feels like a powerful, beautiful image. And I love the little, what is that on her forehead? Like the little symbol.
I think it's just some sacred geometry.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. The detail is just
Thank you.
incredible there.
And then, of course, guardian angels.
Yes. Such a peaceful color. I love how it's like, it looks like in this one that you have the auras behind there, like that burst of color.
What's interesting is I find angels kind of difficult to paint for some reason. So I'm trying to push through that. And this was one of those push through paintings. And what I had actually had this vision once when my son was in the hospital, and he was very, very sick. It was really at this grim point where we weren't sure what was going on. And I had insisted on a specialist and met some resistance. And the specialist did come in, and she was flanked by these angels. And I was like, I quick got out a marker and quick drew it. So it's kind of looks like this, what I saw.
Wow.
I can't even explain it. It was so magical. And after that, he turned the corner.
Oh my goodness. That is wonderful. That's wonderful.
So I have no doubt that we have angels. There's just, I will like argue to death with someone on that point. Like, yes, they're there.
Yep.
But this one is for my husband, who has everything, and his birthday's right after Christmas. So you know how that is, to try to find someone a present.
Right.
I'll just paint something for him. And underneath this is Saint Florian, because my husband's a firefighter, and I wanted that patron saint to,
yes, keep him safe, watched over. Makes sense. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. And then here's the last part of soul portraits. And these take some time, because I kind of tap into your soul. And it's just deeper than like a psychic reading. I kind of like really like to get in there and see what's going on. And I use colors. I use Reiki, because I'm also a Reiki master. I grind up crystals and into a powder and mix them with my paint, so you have that healing energy of the crystals as well.
Wow, that is awesome. Oh my goodness.
This one is
colors.
It doesn't really show in this image here, but it's a lot more like vibrant and fluorescent.
Okay. It's beautiful.
The animals kind of, if you look here, like, I won't go into, like, for essence of time again, I won't go deep, but the fox is looking backward, and the raven is looking to the future. So that's part of my reading. Like, why did I draw it like this? I have to kind of, so I'll take some notes.
Okay.
That's part of it.
This is you just tapping into a client's energy. So not necessarily their aura. This is different from an aurograph, which we saw earlier, but you're
going deep.
Going deeper, much deeper than just.
Yeah, it's like a soul excavation.
Soul. Okay. Soul excavation.
Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I just said soul excavation. Yeah. A lot more detail too.
Yeah. This one took some time. Unbelievable. There's a woman underneath this I drew.
Okay.
Wow. I covered her up so they can tell how long they took. There's layers. And the feedback I got on this one was one of her friends saw it, and she says that is absolutely you, to her, and said this represents every aspect of your life. So it was
the owls, the dragonflies, the butterflies.
Yeah, that was fun. This one I just handed off yesterday.
Is it hard for you to part with them?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, I bet you put so much time and detail into. I mean, crumbled up crystals are in these. That is so cool. That's so powerful.
They take me a long time to do. I wanted to try a different format. I wanted to try something a little smaller to see if I could get through them quicker. It didn't make a difference.
Okay.
It's just, I feel like I'm going through something with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I also
so is that your empath? Is that the empath in you?
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's so the sea turtle was significant, and the color of gold was significant. And this one has some mother of pearl in it. And this person loves the ocean, so it was a good fit. Okay, and then I think this is won't be the final soul portraits. Yeah, this is the phoenix.
Beautiful. The colors are so vibrant. It's just like rising out of the ashes with determination. It looks like how serious the bird's face is. Like, here I am, you know.
And it was fitting for her as well. It represented a lot that was going on in her life. And underneath this was some darker colors that were kind of heavy for her, but they were still beautiful. They were just, she needed to push through something. Mm-hmm. And I actually put this one aside for probably 6 weeks. And I felt bad. I kept thinking about it. I'm like, I just can't get to this. It was emotionally, it's how connected I get to them. So I picked it up. I'm like, come on, we're going to work on this. And about the time I felt the shift, and then I contacted her, and she definitely said that something had changed in her life. It wasn't me. I didn't cause the shift. She did. I felt it. And this one actually glows in the dark.
Really?
Yes. I bought all these extra fluorescent paints and I put another layer on there. That's another thing that took some time, is if you were to hold up a black light to this, it would look a little bit different in the dark.
Sure. Wow.
And then here's my oracle deck. The first one that I've printed. Mm-hmm. That this is me documenting my journey of this very bizarre, going from a nurse to a medium to an artist. I wanted to paint it.
Right.
So I titled it Painting the Way, and these are the cards. I actually have it right here with me. I use it sometimes when I'm doing readings for people. Mm-hmm. But I need to change some things and maybe find a different printer, because there was a few things that I want to tweak.
Sure. Mm-hmm. They're beautiful. So there's 78 hand-painted oracle cards. Mm-hmm. And so the backs of them, do they all look like that swirl?
They do. And I don't know if you can see it behind me when we're on the other screen. There is a painting I did of the sun. Mm-hmm. Those are the rays on the back of the card. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. I'm excited for those to come out. I bet you a lot of people will be as well. Oracle cards are so popular nowadays, and they're so powerful.
They're just like mini works of art.
Yes. Yes. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your artwork with us. It's so beautiful. So I think you had said when we were talking that sometimes you get an image that you don't know who it is, and then someone else will come in and claim it. Is that right? Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay, so that it can happen that way too. So it's not just like a client coming in saying, "Hey, can you draw my cousin?" Or you're giving a reading and you're drawing at that time. Sometimes it just comes in and then you post it on YouTube and someone will claim it. That's so exciting.
That's my favorite way to do it, because then the pressure's off a little bit, because actually watching me draw for someone could be like watching paint dry. Because I'm kind of in a light trancey state, just kind of, sketching and drawing. And for someone to sit here on Zoom and watch me for, 20 minutes, it would be like, I get a little self-conscious about it. So I would rather just like post them on my page or something. But
makes sense. It makes sense. So would you say that spirit art is healing for people, and how so? What's the feedback that you've gotten from clients? How is it healing?
Yeah, I do think it is healing, because when we're giving messages to spirit, how often, I don't know about you, Lisa, but one of the things that I always hear is, I want to know that they made it okay.
Yeah.
I want to know that they're okay. Yeah. The art is like another piece to add to that healing layer, that's like, yes, they're okay. Here's what they have to say. And here, let me show you something. So a picture can paint 1,000 words, right?
Yeah. For sure, for sure. And it's also tangible,
Mhm.
you know, seeing a picture or holding it in your hands. It's like, you know, of your loved one. It's proof, right? I mean, it's more than just words. It's actual tangible evidence of, oh wow, you know, you get to hold them again in a different way, of course.
Oh,
But
yes.
you know,
It's amazing. It's very healing. Yeah.
so how is it healing for you?
Well, I would say it's healing for me because I'm absolutely doing what I love. I feel like this is what my soul was designed to do. It was
Mhm.
designed to take this turn, and not that anything was bad. There were bumps along the way, but now I'm my own boss. I have no supervisor. I'm
Right.
I'm around crystals. I'm around color. I'm around paint. Uh, I'm doing what I love. So it's
Yeah.
how can I even like complain?
Right.
It's
So it's
healing.
just healing. So
Mhm.
you've had a lifetime of healing, though. You going from being an RN and
Mhm.
helping people heal in traditional Western medicine, which is so important, to being an energy artist, energy healer, medium, right, and healing people this way, healing hearts, you know, healing emotions, all of that. It's beautiful, like this,
Right. It's
you know,
like
how your life is.
the mind, the body, and the spirit. So it's like putting us all together, with
Yeah.
traditional medicine and the healers of the world and the
Right.
creative of the world.
Wonderful. So do you, with your artwork, do you offer originals or only prints or both? How do you?
Oh, they're all originals. Any of the spirit portraits anyone's welcome to have. I find that I'll send them off like an email or Facebook Messenger or something, and people don't always want the hard copy of the picture. I guess we're in the electronic age,
Mhm.
and some people I'll go ahead and mail the portrait to them. All the soul portraits, autographs, all those are on a canvas, so they're shipped off.
Okay.
I do photograph them, and I reserve the rights to the image, and
Sure.
I might take a snippet of it and use it in something else, not for another person, but for
Right.
me.
Sure. Hmm.
Yeah, but I can
Understandable.
make prints as well. Mhm.
Okay.
Like
So,
the soul portraits, sorry, the soul portraits are individual. However, the phoenix, she's given me permission to share with other people because the phoenix represents a lot. So that will probably be a print as well.
okay.
He was
Wonderful.
willing to share.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. So how do people get in touch with you? How do they see your artwork? What's your, I mean, do you have a Facebook page, a website? I know you mentioned YouTube.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel where I've just kind of just started. So there's only a few videos up where I'm drawing them time lapse.
Sure.
And I have a Facebook group where I post pictures as well that I draw, and hopefully people can claim them. And I have an Instagram account, and my website is ready to launch. I just haven't hit the button.
Uh-huh. Almost there. You have almost there. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and a coming soon website, correct?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. And we will post all that information at the end of this video so people can go ahead and jot it down and find you. And also, if anyone is interested in learning more about me, you can find me at my website, which is www.mediumlisascholz.com, or my Facebook page, which is Medium Lisa Scholz. And I also have an Instagram page, and I also have a YouTube page as well, where all these kind of videos will be set up for people to review when they are ready to. So Amy, thank you so much for sharing this afternoon with me today. I feel like I've learned a ton about spirit art and the different types of spirit art and just how beautiful and healing this is for your clients and the world. You know, I mean, we all can appreciate art, even if it's not directly for us. It's
Right.
just healing, right? So thank you so much for today and
You're
spending
welcome.
time with me.
Thank you for
Okay.
inviting me. I'm honored. I just love to be in the presence of other mediums. I just love their energy. I admire your mediumship. And
Oh, thank you.
you actually opened my eyes to some things that I didn't see as well in my art. So I really appreciate that. So thank you so much.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I will sign off for now. So goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining
Bye.
us. We hope you enjoyed today's talk. Bye-bye.
Take care.